also, how long does the plant live?
The plant can give you 15 years.
Oh, okay.
From a farm perspective, like we were saying, 8 years is usually when they start to decrease in stem length and product and yield of the buds. Watering is important. They're drought tolerant. They only need about 9 inches of rainfall a year. You do need to carry them their first 2 years during the hot seasons. Depending upon where you live, remembering they do not like wet feet. That will be the worst thing that you could do, is put a sprinkler on them or let them sit in water. We also don't do what many of us farmers like to do, and water deep and water long, to create a really good taproot and get a good root system going. I would feel it out when they're babies. You just want to make sure that they maintain some moisture. They will let you know by getting kind of wilty. You would think wilty, not when they're getting overwatered. They have a tendency to get yellow. When they need water, they get gray. The leaf has a tendency to get gray. They don't wilt so much, but they'll get kind of a grayish color in their leaf. Our farm is Central Coast Lavender Farm. We're right here in Paso, just off of Bolsona. Yeah.
Weeds.
Weeds, oh yes. We love weeds, but weeds are just plants out of place, right? There's a lot of benefits to weeds. We do practice biodynamic farming on our farm, which is just kind of a modern word for, we live by the Farmer's Almanac. Many farmers have been doing it for hundreds of years. Weeds. Eventually, your babies will drown them out. If you're planting little tiny plants, the biggest challenge for that plant is developing its root system. And we found that using weed cloth gives them an opportunity to get established without competing for a water source or getting their roots entangled with weeds or having to be accidentally pulled out of the ground when you're weeding, that kind of thing. So weed cloth is beneficial. We have some friends that have Carrizo lavender that used New Times magazines and straw, and it turned out wonderful. So if you want to do that, that's a green measure right there.
How do they do in shade?
They do okay in shade as long as they're not getting overwatered and they have the ability to dry out, kind of dry up a little bit. You won't find a significant bloom. If they're in the shade, you'll have some luscious leaf and a nice green plant, but not as much color or flower. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting question. The question was, how's the market for it? Is it kind of going up and down? I'd like to say that it's still new enough that it's inspiring people to grow their own lavender and walk out and pick some basil and maybe a little bit of oregano and snip a few lavender buds and use it. But the market is really, it's balanced right now. It's good. I know in our region, we started lavender farming just 5 years ago, so we're relatively new. But we have so many other lavender farms that have started up, and we're very thankful for that, which is why we have the Lavender Growers Association. I think it's sustaining itself. And if you do it in a way, perhaps if you're thinking of growing lavender, maybe having it an add to if you already have a winery or if you're already growing olives, that kind of thing. To keep it on a boutique side, I think is great, no more than a couple of thousand, depending upon what you want to do with it. And the reason I say that is because, remember, it takes 1 pound of the intermediate varietal to produce 1 ounce of oil, which is 25 mature plants.